In Jurassic World Rebirth, we're shown this scene right here, which shows us a Dunkleosteus bitten in half, which begs the question, who really attacked the Dunkleosteus in Jurassic World Rebirth? And the answer isn't what you think. We've uncovered a long-lost theory and never-before-seen evidence that will force you to reconsider everything. And immediately, I'd like to address something, because I know what you're thinking. Well, it's gotta be the mosasaur, right? I mean, we see it is super aggressive, attacks the boats, and could potentially be large enough, right? Well, that isn't entirely the case here. You see, we know the Mosasaurus is definitely bigger and would weigh more, but we're missing a key factor here, the heavy armor of the Dunkleosteus. I mean, it was covered in heavy bony armor, especially around its head and neck. This armor could provide significant protection against a Mosasaurus bite, especially in those regions. So whatever bit this Dunkleosaurus head completely off would have had to have a huge bite force, way more than the Mosas. I mean, in a hypothetical confrontation, all these various factors, there's no guaranteed victory for either side if they fought. So the chances are they wouldn't fight each other, especially with all the prey in the open ocean for the Mosasaurus. No, something else attacked the Dunkleosteus. So could it have been one of the Spinosaurus we see then in the film? But wait, just before we get onto them, we're actually missing some key information about the Dunkleo itself. You see, the Dunkleo has huge bony jaws and a massive bite force. I mean, the bite force is believed to have been exceptionally strong, perhaps even surpassing that of a crocodile. So whichever animal, dinosaur, marine reptile, chooses to attack this Dunkleo, they have to be absolutely certain they're not going to get hit by this bite force, these jaws, because if they do, it's game over for them. So they have to be an extremely exceptional predator to do so. So could the Spinosaurus fit that profile? And if we use the movie as a base, we clearly see them hunting in a diverse pack. I mean, several of these Spinosaurus, could they have a coordinated attack and bring the Dunkleo down? Well, that is possible, but it's highly unlikely that the claws the Spino would use and their serrated jaws would even have an impact on the Dunkleo's powerful armor. And let's not forget, the Spino's snout was specifically designed for smaller fish. It was not designed for fighting heavily armored prey like the Dunkleosteus. And we're forgetting a huge bit of evidence here. The Dunkleosteus was bitten in half. Well, his head was removed from the body, literally bitten off. The Spinosaurus would never be able to do that. So no, it was not a pack of Spinosaurids, and no, it was not the Mosa. So then where does that leave us? We haven't seen any other marine reptiles or animals in the film, right? But just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not around. You see, in Jurassic World Rebirth, the Dunkleosteus is not explicitly stated to have originated from a specific location within the Jurassic World universe, but it has to have come from somewhere. We literally see this severed head. Not only that, it was caught in the fishing net, suggesting it's come from the ocean, escaped from a facility, or was somehow released into the wild. I mean, the movie doesn't delve into the specific circumstances of its environment, but that's where I come in, you see. The fact that it's found in a fishing net suggests it was living in the ocean, likely within the vicinity of where the movie takes place, because that's where it was caught. Now, you could say it came from this facility on this Rebirth island, right? But that seems extremely unlikely. We don't see any type of marine holding facility on this island. So I'm sorry, I don't think it came from Rebirth's island. But here's the really interesting thing. Sure, we know Jurassic World had a marine facility, but there was actually one planned way before that in Jurassic Park. You see, there's a scene in the original Jurassic Park where you see the protagonist messing with an interactive CD-ROM. And it's at this point where John Hammond says this.
Voice you're now hearing is Richard Kiley. We spared no expense.
Now, what you may not realize is that during this CD-ROM, the narrator actually says some pretty interesting things about the park.
Currently scheduled to be opened to visitors 6 months after the main park, the marine facility will offer more revenue generation opportunities and marketing campaigns.
But not only that, if you look at every official Jurassic Park map, you'll notice in every single one of them an iteration of some type of lagoon, coupled with several references to in-gen marine facilities. Now, I want to make one thing clear before we go any further. We gotta remember, Jurassic Park was set in 1993, and this new movie is set in 2027. So that would mean then, if this Dunkleo escaped from one of these facilities, it would have been around a very long time. Now, that isn't out of the ordinary because we know sharks live what? Several decades, including crocodiles. So the time span isn't the problem. What is the problem, though, is that if it did come from this facility, how come no one had seen it out in the open ocean for what? Several decades, potentially? So no, although evidence is there, and it could make for an interesting theory. I don't believe that Dunkleo came from the original Jurassic Park. But what about Jurassic World? We know there was a marine facility there. It kept the original Mosasaurus we see in it. And it didn't just keep the original Mosasaurus. Several other marine animals and reptiles were also kept in Jurassic World. They were just never shown to us on screen. How do I know this? You've only got to look at the holoscape. On the holoscape, we see reference to a plesiosaur, showing it was somewhere in the park. The Camp Cretaceous gate also depicts a plesiosaur there. And if you want a third bit of evidence, there was an entire scene showing us Plesiosaurus's pond, basically. You can see the scrapped concept art and storyboards on screen now. They planned to have this shown in the movie, but was cut. So if you have an entire marine facility with a Mosasaurus, plesiosaurs, surely you'd want other marine reptiles, right? Extinct fish, for example, exactly like the Dunkleo. It would fit perfectly as an attraction in Jurassic World. So we've solved where the Dunkleo has come from, but we still haven't solved what cut it in half, what literally decapitated our giant armored fish. You see, not only would it have to be a substantially large predator, it would also have to be something which has such powerful jaws, it decapitates it entirely. And I think there's only one thing here. Something truly terrifying lurking deep below in the darkness. Something which will be able to overpower the Dunkleosteus with ease. Something which will have a significant strength advantage. And there's only one predator which would come to mind for me. And I think you probably know what it is. And that's the larger Megalodon. And I know it sounds absolutely wild, but believe me, there is evidence to support this theory, so hear me out. A larger Megalodon could potentially kill the Dunkleosteus with ease. We know Dunkleosteus was a formidable predator with powerful jaws, but a Megalodon, a giant prehistoric shark, was significantly larger. It would have the strength and size advantage to easily overpower and subdue a Dunkleosteus. Now we'll get onto where it came from in a second, but we know the Megalodon was estimated to be much larger, potentially 2 to 3 times longer and 10 times more massive. The size difference would translate to a significant strength advantage, and not only that, Megalodon's bite force was estimated to have been even greater than the Dunkleosteus itself, inflicting massive damage. An animal like the Megalodon being so large would also need to consume larger prey animals, exactly like the Dunkleosteus, and could easily bite the Dunkleos in half if needs be, or even decapitate it entirely. But that's all well and good, you might be saying, Shadows, but where would this Megalodon actually come from? I mean, we literally have no proof, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. We know a Megalodon is featured in Jurassic World Evolution. Now, I know Jurassic World Evolution 2 isn't canon to the films, but it does show us that it is indeed possible to be featured in Jurassic World. I spoke about how there was a marine facility there, although the Megalodon I don't believe came from any type of park facility. I believe this to be something else entirely. I believe this to be a creation from another contender. Spoiler warning for the new Megalodon film, Meg and Jurassic Park crossover. No, I'm joking. But the only logical explanation of where a Meg could have come from is the same place potentially these other Spinosaurids came from. There's only two logical explanations. Someone else out there, another contender, was creating dinosaurs and marine reptiles, hence where the Spinosaurid came from. Or it did come from another facility from Jurassic World, post 2015. But if Jurassic World was cloning giant sharks like a Megalodon, that would be a huge attraction, right? And they would have planned for that. That would have been in Jurassic World somewhere. The fact that it's not there means they didn't have a Meg anyway. So the Dunkleo has come from somewhere else. It has to be. Whether there's a facility on this new island we're yet to see, I mean, it was one of the original facilities for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. It is likely they could have a marine facility. We're yet to see it. I would like to think, however, that that's something for an upcoming movie. They're obviously going to return to this island at some point. They've left the D-Rex on there, and when they do, I really hope they fully explore the facility and show us more around the docks and any other facilities. Either way, the only thing which could have attacked and decapitated this Dunkleo was a Megalodon. The Mosasaurus wouldn't have the strength to be able to do that in one single clean bite. For me, it was the Meg. The only question which still remains is where did it come from? And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And check out all my other videos, especially if you want to know about that original Jurassic Park lagoon. The video's on screen for you to click and watch after this, because I did reference it in this video. Massive thanks to the InGen employees who are on screen now, DVM Wannabe 1018, Hammer Time, Lily, and our Jurassic CEO, Joseph Frost's Ghost. Thanks, guys. And if you were out at the beach taking a little dip and you saw some type of fin in the ocean, could your day get any worse? You bet Jurassic can. Catch you later.